All right. So today we have Isabella Ruan, also known as Bella Cultura. Do you want to share and have the audience get to know you a little better?
Sure. I was born and raised in Bakersfield, California. I am one of 10 siblings,
Oh, wow.
and I'm the
Ooh.
second youngest. I am 30 this year, so I turned 30 in January. I
How
am an
exciting.
Aquarius.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah. So, a little bit about myself. I've like most of us go through traumas. We all have traumas in our childhood. And a lot of the times when growing up, we don't know how to release these type of traumas, so we carry them with us, and sometimes they affect our choices in life. Overall, I feel like my heart and my intentions have always been in a good place. I've always led with my heart, so the light always to find me, even when I fall into darkness.
Aw.
So, what I mean by that is that a lot of the times when I was younger, I made decisions that were not always the wisest. I'm a very free spirited person, and I led through impulsive decisions, right? But they always led me to a place where it helped me grow and learn from myself and from others and experiences, right? So I'm very big on entrepreneurship for that reason, being
Awesome.
because I lead with my spirit. I'm a creative. I don't really like to be told what to do, which is something I'm working on as far as discipline goes, because it is a requirement in order to be grounded in discipline, and obviously being more organized and being in alignment with that. So I've never really worked for a company where I was told what to do. I did in my younger days because it was retail. When I was 18, I worked probably at like 5 retail stores at the mall.
I'm very curious what your human design. Have you learned anything about human design?
No,
'Cause I'm gonna send you links later.
oh,
Super
You
interesting.
sound
I
like a
bet you would
total
love it.
manifester, which that's what we are in our
Yeah.
human design, or possibly
yeah.
a manifesting generator. I
You
can.
know, it's really funny that you say that because I naturally manifest everything I want.
Mm,
Naturally, like it just comes to me, like I feel it. This is when I first discovered manifestation. I was living in downtown LA, and I was on the treadmill, and I closed my eyes, and I had just like envisioned myself driving a Jeep, and I like held onto the wheel, and I was like on the treadmill, and I really felt it, right? Like I didn't know these were the laws of manifestation, but in that moment it was natural to me. And so I kid you not, 2 weeks later, I ended up getting my dream Jeep car.
oh my
My
god, you're giving me chills.
I literally like thought to myself like, how how did that happen? I was just envisioning myself driving it just 2 weeks ago, and now it's here. Like,
Yeah.
and I really sat and reflected on that. I think that's when it clicked, and I was like, I started thinking of all of the things that I've acquired,
Mhm.
not only material things, but everything in my life. And I realized like, wow, that's the law of manifestation, and I'm in tune, and I'm really like connected to this. So like I realized in that moment, I was like, okay, I need to be careful what I really like put out there, because I'm obviously going to manifest that back. So then it was just kind of like an eye-opening moment for me.
That's
That's
wonderful.
that is
Wow.
beautiful, and
Yeah.
to be able to experience that in such a early stage in your life, 18, like technically you're an adult, but a lot of people go down the wrong path, or
Yeah.
Right.
they just don't know
They
how
don't
this
have the
works.
stillness to sit and think about an introspection heavy moment, that you're meditating. It's pretty much meditating.
This actually, it's crazy because this happened after I had fallen into a really dark path in my life. Because when I was 18, I was sexually abused. And so I kind of carried that with me, right?
Right.
And I had fatherly issues. I didn't really have that support from my father. So I always craved for that love, of a father. And so I fell into a really dark space where I was actually taken advantage of, where I trusted in someone, and I was pretty much abducted for a whole 2 weeks, and I was forced to do prostitution. And it was really crazy, gnarly, like
Oh my God.
scary. The craziest.
Was this in Bakersfield, by the way?
No, this was in Fresno. So I was in Bakersfield, and then this person lived in Fresno, and so like I was naive. I didn't know better. And I fell into the situation, and I got away because he was arrested for a warrant that he had. So, I got away, but I was so deep in that darkness that I actually kept doing it on my own. And so
Wow.
I moved out to LA, downtown LA. I don't know if this is too much for you, but
Yeah,
Share
share
about my
whatever you're open to.
because I'm very happy of how, where I am in my life, and I feel like I can help a lot of women out there through my story.
All that has culminated to this, who
Yes.
you are
Right.
now. So yeah, it's
Yes.
necessary.
Absolutely. I
Please
agree.
share,
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
you need to.
So I moved out to downtown LA, and I was homeless. I actually was addicted to drugs, and I was just in a really, really dark space. In my heart, because I had taken fashion merchandise, I was like stuck in fashion. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna overcome this. I know I can, even though I was lost. My heart was always with, the light was always there, because I am a good person, that was never someone I was. It was just something I went through, right? And so it was a situation where I was always seeking for the light. So I ended up working for LA Fashion Week. Even though I was homeless, people didn't know this. So I had to play this part where I was trying to fit in, but I was completely lost, and nobody would have thought, right? And so I was like, I'm going to fight through this. I'm going to get back on my feet. And so at the time, I would like literally try my best to just do affirmations in my head and try to overcome this negative thought that always told me I wasn't worthy of. And it just like kept coming, right? So I had to fight it. And then I finally fought the battle. I overcame. I ended up getting a job for a designer. His name is Antonio Barro. He actually works with hand in hand with Michael Costello. They're really good friends. And so he was doing consignment at the California Market Center in downtown LA. And so he hired me on because he saw my potential, and I was able to get off my feet, and I was able to like do consignment through him and just start. And that's when it started. That's when the whole
I literally have chills all throughout, like just
powerful.
your
Wow.
story. Yeah, you definitely have an amazing vibration to you. Like I don't normally feel this way with a lot of people. I just had to say that.
I just feel like overcoming all of that and having angels. I believe everybody that comes into my life is just like an angel in my life. Like we're supposed to meet, they help me in a way, I'm supposed to help them in a way. It's just like, the flow of you give and take, right? So it's like the flow. And I feel like when that person came into my life and helped me overcome a really dark place, I was just I was grounded in gratitude, So overall, like I had people who believed in me, and then my family missed me in Bakersfield. So my sister, she's an esthetician. She had been an esthetician for about 8 years at the time. And she's like, why don't you come out here and we'll start a business together? We miss you. Let's do it. So then I was like, you know what do I have to lose? Like I've overcame so much. Why not come home? Because I was in denial for a moment when I was homeless, and I was also in guilt. I was living in guilt, and I didn't want my family to see me that way. So I distanced myself, and I actually went away and did not like really speak to anyone for a long time, for about 3 years. And so whenever I overcame all of that, I started coming around more, and my niece was born at the time. So I was like really coming around. And I moved back to Bakersfield. We opened up Beautiful Sequence, and we gave a lot of women opportunities to model, to work for a business. We did internships with the fashion merchandise kids, got involved with the community. We through events just to kind of like bring people together. That was our thing. Like we wanted to bring people together. And so we thrived through that, right? And so I got into manicuring, so I added that to the business. But entrepreneurship, like
All
I
the
told you,
way.
yeah.
It's a natural born talent to be an entrepreneur. And like you, we've also not worked for very many people or companies because we just have never felt like, I don't know, just being in a 9 to 5 is just not our environment. And we're
Right.
always like, okay, what, sometimes, like you said, it could keep you a little ungrounded and disorganized, but we're trying to figure things out, like we moved
Yeah.
back to Bakersfield to pursue our real estate business, and that hasn't really taken off yet, but we're always just being guided, right, in different directions. And sometimes it's just going with the flow of the river or the nature. And how funny to come back to a place, where you're like home. The Bakersfield for us is home, and and for you as well. So
It'll always be home for me. I feel like I've built a community there, and I love Bakersfield. That's, where I grew up, and that's where my family is mostly. Um, and friends. A lot of my friends are family, so I am in Long Beach now, but I ended up here because I actually, during the pandemic in 2020, I chose to sell my business.
yeah.
And that was after 5 years of being in business. I chose to sell it. And I said, I'm just going to move. I am not married. I don't have children. I'm going to go explore the world. So my goal is to actually travel, right? So
Yes.
started in Tulum. So I moved to Tulum for about a year and I ended up pregnant.
That's so
um,
amazing.
yeah, but it was with someone that I'd been seeing for a couple years, and we obviously loved each other and we were connected.
Yes.
So now I'm in Long Beach because her daddy's here. So we're here as a family, we're united, and I feel like I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be
Hmm.
in this moment, and I feel good about it. So I transitioned into a different role in my career. I'm now an agent for a life insurance company.
Oh, awesome.
Um, but I'm still an entrepreneur. I work on my own
Yeah.
time and I work from home. So I'm able to raise my little baby. And yeah, I'm grateful to be
So
able to help
important.
people and then still be home.
That's so awesome.
Touching back on LA, dark,
Uh-huh.
stormy past, what, because it seems usually when people are in that place, they're in this hole and they feel, like you said, lost and they have no internal
Right.
resources. So, what were those resources that you felt kept on showing you the light?
It was my spirit. It wouldn't let me sleep. It was within me. The answer is within. It's not in your neighbor's
The
house.
answer is in
The
you.
answer is within. I overcame it because my spirit was not sleeping. It was like, no, you don't belong here. You are more than this. These affirmations that I was speaking of, I didn't choose to say them to myself. They
I
came
have
from
a
my
serious
spirit.
sorry to cut you off, but did you know about affirmations at the
Oh,
moment? Right. Okay. I
Wow.
felt that. Like I need
That's
like it's a
awesome.
natural
I'm telling you,
way
you're just giving me chills
that
throughout this whole
spirit was telling
conversation.
you, like trying to brainwash you into, hey,
yes.
you're infinite, you're
Uh-huh.
divine, you are, yeah, that's
You
awesome.
are enough. I was like, I kid you not, there was a moment where I'll never forget. I have my journal with me everywhere I go. I have it here now. Um, and I've literally journaled. I would journal during that time in the darkness. So reading back to it, I'm like, whoa, that's gnarly. Like the
Yeah.
things that were like coming up, right? So it's insane. But one of in my journal, it took me back to a place where I was literally out, like on drugs. And I was laying there and I was journaling and I fell asleep while I was journaling, but something woke me up. It was like it was, I always say it was the higher power, like God, right? Like he woke me up, he said, wake up, that is enough. It
Mm,
said, wake up, that is enough. Like, and it was such a strong feeling that I got from that, that it like took me by surprise to a point where I, for a whole entire week, was thinking about it. Like, okay, what does it mean? What does that mean? Like, why did I feel that? Why did I hear that? What does it want me to do? You know? And so, like, I questioned it, I reflected on it, and I realized that it wanted me to overcome myself. Like,
Wow.
that is enough. Like, no more pity party. You are enough. Get up. You can do it. Like, you are worthy of, you
Lori.
know? Like, you're made for more. So stop, wake up, and that is enough. Like, no more. So I did over time. I mean, like, I started really envisioning all of the things I wanted in that darkness.
Did you believe it that first week that you were like
It,
reflecting
it
on
was a
this?
battle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a battle. I would fall short, you know, but at the end of the day, the fact that I still tried over time, that's why I really truly believe that if you give a little bit each day,
Mhm.
it'll amount to something greater and bigger eventually. Um,
Absolutely. It compounds.
yeah,
Compound
Effect.
effect.
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great book, by the way, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because I actually started, I have a script. I was working with a writer and a director. I was gonna do like a Netflix series, a series
Oh,
of my life.
oh
It's
my
called The Broken Butterfly. And it's already been started. So it's just something I haven't touched in a couple years just because I got pregnant and like a lot of things happened, but it's something that's in the works.
Oh, you
Yeah.
definitely. That's amazing. We're excited for that
Yeah.
for sure. But what did you say the name would be? Or
The Broken Butterfly.
oh, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
Butterflies, they're such a dear symbol to me and to most people, you know.
Yeah, me too. I'm very connected to butterflies. That's like my thing. I actually have a couple tattoos of them.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just I really truly feel like transformation in itself.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I believe in that
Yes.
we all transform to different parts of our lives. I feel like we're not here to fulfill just one thing. Like when people say, "Oh, choose your career," it's like, "No.
Yeah.
Why?" You know,
At
so much
18.
why is it one career? If we're living one life, why not experience it to the fullest? You know what I mean? Why not
On a
try
spectrum.
new
I
things?
want a spectrum.
You have this whole world, right? You choose to be in one place. And it's just like gnarly to me to think, geez, people don't really tune into that, right? And so like I want to be able to like at one point in my life, like I used to say, I want to like be able to raise money and start a nonprofit organization to help like orphans or kids with like that don't have the means to travel the world. Like
Oh
that was like my thing.
my God.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. And I feel like I will fulfill that because it wouldn't come to me. I feel like it wouldn't come to me if I wasn't able to fulfill that. Like it came to me for a reason. So
Yes.
I know eventually one day I will fulfill that. But yeah, that is just crazy. Like I want to be able to like just throw people out there and be like, this is a new environment. Take a look. Like there's so much to this world. There's so much to you. And I feel like when you tap into that, then you're able to like do anything, right? Because you're like, dude, if he did it, I could do it. You know, it's like anybody can. And you just have to believe in that. But yeah, being out in Tulum was one of the eye openers for me because I was able to do like the medicine, like I told you about, talked a little bit about ayahuasca and peyote.
Yes.
And it just really helped me unblock and unlock those areas that I needed to kind of just like expand my mind, my spirit, my physical body, like everything in itself. Like I felt truly connected to and one with the universe.
Oh my God.
Um,
Beautiful.
that's why I named my daughter Om.
I was curious about that too. Mila Ohm, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then you share, I mean, this
It,
is a little more personal, but I did get to hear a little bit about your story about your birthing process, and Markham was also a part of
Markham is her last name. Baby Markham,
it.
I said Baby Markham because I don't have a name for the baby.
Okay.
Pretty much what that was. It was something. I'm gonna tell you how trippy this is. I'll start if you want to talk about my birthing
Yes,
experience. It
please. Do
started from the moment I moved out to Tulum. I knew I needed to just like unblock some of my chakras and really work within. I wanted to feel in tune with my ancestors and just like be connected and like just like help heal my family and myself, and let go of past trauma because I felt like there was still some.
What led you to those understandings that you need to realign your chakras and you need
My spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
My spirit, nothing else but my spirit. My spirit was like, okay, I feel like I need to let go some things. How do I do that? I don't know. This place is calling me. I need to go there.
Oh my
And so I
God.
followed my heart. Because
Wow.
most people, a lot of people are like, you're crazy. You're going to sell your business. You can overcome this COVID thing. And I'm like, no, I'm going to listen to my heart. And they're like, Bella, you're crazy. Why are you moving to Mexico? That's insane, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic and you're moving to a whole other country. Like, what the heck? And I'm just, I'm just gonna listen to my spirit, and I'm like, I'm
You have a very strong, almost stubborn spirit because
do.
there's times where we've wanted to do things and sometimes we get help. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, the choice is ours, right? But some
Right.
like family and friends telling us things like that kind of make us think twice, like, oh, right, and that's the case for a lot of people too. So
It mutes.
Uh-huh.
fully spirit led, it seems like, and you're just like, I'm gonna do what my spirit wants.
Okay, so the way that so there's ego and there's spirit, right? And the ego can get the best of me, get the best of most of us actually. But when you understand where you stand with your ego and you find peace in your ego, then you're able to really hear your spirit and feel your spirit. So I feel like I got to that point when I overcame darkness. I was able to know what my ego was and where my spirit was, and when I feel certain things, they feel differently now. I know that it's not coming from an ego space, then I really like tune into whatever I'm feeling or hearing in my thoughts and I sit with it. I don't impulsively react to it anymore. I make a wise decision based on like how I feel in the end after I think about it for maybe a week or two. Yeah. So I used to just impulsively be like, I'm going to react.
That's like
But
the usually the case for most of us,
Mhm.
we're always like,
Mhm.
hey, something's telling me to do this, and then you're not quite sure, is it really your ego or your higher
Right.
spirit?
This voice, this suggestion that came from within, you're like, is it ego? Is it spirit? And you sit with that for maybe a week or so, and answer kind of unveiled.
And then I do my pros and cons. And I say, okay, what are my pros? What are my cons? Are these cons really overcoming or overpowering my pros? Like, where do I stand with this, right? And so then at the end of the day, after doing that and analyzing that, I'm able to identify what it is that I need to do. It's not always easy because like if I find myself, if I doubt whatever choice I'm making, it's probably not a good thing. That's when I know it's like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't have made this choice. But I'm there and I know that no, like my partner right now, he always says that every path always leads back to God, back to the light. And I truly believe that because I've experienced that, So even though sometimes I don't make the right choice sometimes, like I fall short, I'm not perfect, but I know that I'm always gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Only in darkness do we appreciate light, because that's when I see the difference. That's when the little flashlight that we have actually works, when we're in the
Right.
dark.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you can always like help others in darkness while you're going through whatever you're going through. I always believe that too.
That
Oh,
is so true.
absolutely.
Yeah. It certainly was a case for you. Look how, how far you've come. And of course, those are
And
terrible things to
sorry,
go
I
through.
kind of selfishly pulled the direction of focus, but I really want to hear about the birthing story too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Into
Yes. I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I moved to Tulum, I had been doing a lot of work, a lot of inner spiritual work, a lot of ceremonies, a lot of retreats. I did ayahuasca in December of 2020. And when I did ayahuasca, I fell into a space. It's either you fall into fear and you face your fears, you overcome your fears, or you fall into the light and it's like extreme, like the most beautiful feeling. And this medicine helped me see, I saw two stars. I was laying down flat on my back, and I saw two stars, and they were really bright. And of course, my spirit speaks to me. I'm very in tune with myself, so immediately I knew those are my kids. Like those are my kids, you know. And I saw them, and it was like, at the moment, it was like, those are my kids, or are they somebody else's twins? I was like trying to like, no, really, twins, really. So like in my head I was like going back and forth. I knew immediately they were twins, and I knew that in my heart I knew they were mine, but something helped like made me wonder if maybe it was somebody else's twins. So I wondered. I left it at that. That same night during my medicine journey, I saw a Scorpio, a scorpion walking near one of my friends. She reacted to it to a point where she made a big deal out of it. And she's like, "There's a scorpion." There's like, she was scared, obviously, because we were out in the middle of the jungle out in Tulum. So like, literally, just picture you're in the middle of the jungle, deep in the jungle, like surrounded. You're like surrounding the fire, and all you have is your peers that are going on the journey with you. So there, you can think of like there could be jaguars or like crazy animals. Like you're in the middle of the jungle. Anything can be out there. So of course there was scorpions. There was like obviously different animals and stuff. I saw a scorpion. Keep in mind, she's a Scorpio. Yeah. The girl next to me, her name's Itzel. Itzel is the goddess of fertility in the Mayan culture. During my ayahuasca journey, she was sitting next to me. She had two children. So all of these things were already aligned, right? They were already telling me my future, and I didn't really comprehend it in the moment, but it came together when I obviously got pregnant. I conceived in February. I came out to California to visit her father, and it's okay, sweetie. I'm sorry.
Right? No worries.
Sorry.
This is real life. And by the way, I'll side note, Chloe, our 3-year-old, is a little Scorpio too. She's a Scorpio and a Scorpio rising. And then our newest born, Avani, she is a Sagittarius sun, but she's a Scorpio rising. So apparently we birth a lot of Scorpio energy.
A lot of intense energy.
Looks like it. Absolutely.
Yes, it's really interesting. No, but Scorpio babies are very fascinating, very beautiful souls, very emotional, feel, you know. At least that's what I've learned from Chloe and getting to know Avani. She's only 2 months now, so.
Aww.
How old is Mila now?
She'll be 4 months next week.
Oh my God, how exciting. So she was born like in early November or?
Yeah, November 2nd.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We know 2 people who are born on that day, so it's exciting. And then Chloe was born on November 16th and Avani on December 15th. So she gave us quite a scare, Avani, because my water broke on the 11th of December. Yeah. And then Saturday. And then nothing was happening. Like, you know, usually when your water breaks, you know, okay, we're gonna start laboring soon. Avani actually is a Sagittarius, but she's a Scorpio rising.
Okay. Yeah. The same thing happened to me with my water.
Really? So it's really interesting.
Yeah. And the whole that's why I'm curious to hear your more about your birth story, because you have a crazy story too. Candy had a dream where I can let you explain.
Oh, yeah. Actually, well, we actually sat with the mother ayahuasca in November of 2020. So it's so funny how it kind of like
it's like correlated.
When you shared about your ayahuasca experience, you know, on your Instagram post, I was like, oh my goodness, what a synchronicity. Like we had just sat with the mother, and then like shortly after, you know, and then also we had sat with Hikuri peyote medicine in October of 2020. and then that led us to ayahuasca, doing our retreat in for ayahuasca. And I think it was the second night of our medicine journey. Yeah, I believe so. I had seen myself, with a baby, and I wasn't, just like you, I wasn't sure if it was my baby I was holding or if it was someone else's baby, because at the time I was kind of helping a friend go, work through her own birthing experience. She was having trouble basically with infertility, and I was basically kind of guiding her towards like maybe considering plant medicine or spiritual work. But anywho, so I was like, is this my baby I'm seeing, or is it someone else's baby? And so it was really interesting. We weren't planning on conceiving, but then in 2021 I ended up being pregnant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a fun
That's
experience.
beautiful. Yeah, you're connected.
I was talking about the dream, why we named her Avani, because Candy had a dream. I have a first cousin. He's married to Maria. Or Candy has a dream of Maria, and she wakes up in the morning, calls her or messages her, and then she says, "I had a dream about you."
Yeah, this is the first time that's ever happened to me. Like I consider her my comadre, a good friend, but we're not super close or by any. It was so interesting. I was like, hey, I had a dream about you last night, and I feel like I should share, because I was sharing maybe for some reason in the dream our spirits obviously connected, and I felt compelled to tell her, hey, maybe you would benefit from like a cleanse, like a energetic cleanse in your home, because there's a lot of stagnant energy or whatever. They had been experiencing like heavy energy, let's just say.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to her via text, and I was like, hey, I had this dream about you. And she's like, oh my goodness, Candy, I had a dream about you last night too. And I was like, are you kidding me?
And hers was way more interesting.
Yeah, hers was way more interesting.
So she says that she feels a certain masculine
essence. Yeah.
Some energy telling her, you got to tell Candy to name the baby. It's going to be a girl, and you got to name her Earthiana, or she can't remember the precise name,
but it means something with earth.
Good. Earth. Something about earth. She needs to be named something about earth, pretty much, because she couldn't remember the specific name that she was given.
Plus, she was like, why? I feel awkward telling you what to name your child, but this energy, this spirit,
it's a girl.
Yeah, this spirit was actually, I had already taken the ultrasound.
Yeah, but we hadn't done this.
Oh yeah, we hadn't revealed anybody to anyone that what we were having. Actually, Adrian didn't even know.
I didn't.
He didn't even know.
Knew.
Yeah, I was
so when
surprising
she was told it's a girl, she was like, there's something interesting. So we researched, and Candy came across the name Avani, which means good earth
in Sanskrit. Yeah, so it's a really special name. And here's another interesting thing. Then that night when I had that dream about Maria, I was in my head, I was like, are you really a girl or are you a boy? Like I had just taken a ultrasound. So it had been revealed to me that she was a girl, but I was still kind of in question. Because it was like a 2D. I'm like, oh, my experience with my firstborn, it was like a 3-dimensional. It was like very clear what it was. And so the 2D ultrasound for me was kind of like, is it really a girl or a boy? Because it's like black and white. You can't really see details. And it's so funny that it was just clear that my, ancestors, my higher self were like, yes, it's a girl, after Maria shared that dream with me. Because I truly believe that also my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, he is no longer with us, but I feel like a strong connection with him. And I felt like that's who she was experiencing in her dream, because she said it was a spirit. I couldn't see like form, but I felt him.
He loved you very much.
Yeah. And so I was like, it must have been my grandfather.
Yeah.
she said, right?
I can't remember exactly that, but yeah, it was really
That's
interesting
amazing.
how these little divine spirits like connect with us. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
whenever
absolutely.
you care to finish elaborating about your whole,
No, thank you
process.
so much for sharing your story. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. It just goes to show, obviously, your daughter chose you as
Mm,
parents, and obviously your ancestors led her to you,
yeah.
guided her through, the path. So that's beautiful. That's awesome. That's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing. That means a lot.
Yeah, it's quite interesting becoming parents, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's been a journey for me. Like I feel like I've always had it in me where I've always saw myself as a mother one day. And when this situation happened, I knew I was pregnant in February when I was out here. I was like, we went to Sedona, Arizona, and Sedona has very, very strong
Yes.
vibration. You just like feel connected. And I kid you not, we went on a hike where it's supposed to be like you're supposed to be like the most connected, the airport hike. I don't know exactly if you guys are familiar with it.
What's the?
But
I'm not sure. It's close.
but
Is
it's
it close? There's like this
There's
big
an
church
airport
on a.
right there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's in
Yeah,
that area. And it's
we've
called the airport hike. And so you're supposed to be the most connected there, right? And so I we were hiking. I didn't think anything of it, but in my mind I kept hearing you're pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant, and I just kept saying that and I was like you're crazy, stop. Like stop saying that. Like why am I thinking that? Stop. Like I'm not pregnant. But my mind kept saying you're pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant. And I'm like and it was so annoying because it would not stop. I kid you not. Like
Oh my
it was a
goodness.
thought kept going. Like it was telling me you are pregnant. And I'm
Oh
like, I'm tripping. Like I'm
my.
tripping.
Yeah.
so
Oh my.
so I go back home and I'm like, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test. I was negative. I was like, I'm not pregnant. I knew I wasn't pregnant. And so then no, I fly back to Tulum. It's March 2nd. It was the second day of I had flew in like around March 1st. So the second day I went to this one of my favorite restaurants and it's called Shiva, and they serve like or it's an Indian restaurant. So I was eating, I was minding my own business, but I wasn't feeling very good. I was cramping, like I was like, I'm gonna start my monthly, like I'm just not feeling good, right? And I go to the restroom and I just bleed, and I'm like seeing something, and I'm like, what is that? So I'm like freaking out because I'm like, dude, that looks like an embryo.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
yeah, I'm like, that looks like an embryo. Am I having a miscarriage? So I was like, crap, I'm having a miscarriage. So then I was like, okay, I need to go home. I get a taxi home. I rest. And the whole time I was just reflecting because at this point, I was like, I don't know if it's my period. I don't know if it's, whatever it is. I just knew that I was cramping really bad and I saw something that was not supposed to be there. And I didn't think too much of it. Eventually I went to the doctor and I was like, I need to find out like what's wrong with me. Unfortunately, they couldn't take me in as walk-in, and it was just this whole thing because obviously like you have to pay because I'm
Yeah.
not a Mexican citizen. So then I was like, okay, I had to wait until I get paid. So I waited. But during that, in between that time, I had already scheduled a peyote ceremony to attend. So I went and did that. And during that weekend, two of the girls that were around me were having contractions in their journey.
Oh my
So they
goodness.
were feeling like they were delivering a baby during their journey. Yeah. So the energy they were receiving my energy because I was pregnant at the time. And so what happened was that one of the girls, she's a Reiki, she pulled a card.
Hmm.
She pulled a card the following morning and she's like, it says that I'm going to be a midwife. Like somebody's pregnant. And I was like, mm.
Did
I was
you?
like, I think I just had a miscarriage. Maybe it's that. I told her that. And I was like, I think I just had a miscarriage. Maybe you're just reading that, like, and she's just like, no, somebody's pregnant. I think you're pregnant. And I was like, oh my God, really? And she's like, yeah. And so then The following day, like, because I stayed there one more day, the following day I got a taxi home, which is because I was in Playa and it took like an hour and a half to get to Tulum. So I, on the way home, I was really nauseous, like super nauseous, and I was just not feeling good. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take another pregnancy test. Like, I don't know what is going on right now, but I'm gonna take another test. It was positive.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, something's wrong because I'm bleeding. So then I was scared. I was like, what is going on? So then I ended up going to get an ultrasound the following day. I paid the dues. I was like, just give me an ultrasound. I need to know what's going on. He's like, well, I'm confirming to you. I don't know if you saw the video, it's in Spanish. But he found pretty much two pockets. It's called Vanishing twin syndrome. So pretty much, I miscarried one of my babies and Mila survived. So in that moment I was like in shock, right? I was like, yo, like at first I thought like, oh my God, like twins, like that's crazy. But then when he looked further into it, he only found one heartbeat. So he's like, it looks like you miscarried. Have you been bleeding? And I said, yeah. He's like, okay, this is common. It happens. We were already 2 months into pregnancy. So at the point, it was kind of like, you know, like I felt it. Like obviously, I knew that in that moment, I knew that ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca, had told me I was having twins, and I was obviously not able to deliver the second one. But you know, I felt his spirit recently when I did a session with my friend who's a Reiki, and we worked on our yoni and the sacral chakra.
Chloe.
She was doing Reiki on me, and I felt his light. I knew it. I knew it's a boy. I felt his light. I heard him saying, "Mommy, I'm okay." Like I felt the spirit. Like it was the most calming and peaceful feeling because I was able to release that and let that go. And say, okay, I know you're okay, and I can let go of that now, you know. I actually happened to find out I was pregnant on International Women's Day, um,
Because
which was
it
the
was.
same day I dropped my album.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called To Me I See,
Okay,
and
yeah, we've been listening to it.
Yeah.
that's the
Yes.
same day I dropped that album. I found out I was pregnant,
Wow.
on International Women's Day. So yeah, it was just all aligned. But yeah, that's what happened to my other little one. So it's called Vanishing twin syndrome, and it
Uh,
happens.
2 nights ago, I had a dream that I had two sets of twins, a boy and a girl. But it might have been because I was reflecting on, your story also. But I was just like, two sets of twins, what's going on? And first, the first, the first set of twins, the girl was born first, and then the boy. And then the second time, the boy was born first, and then the girl. So it was really interesting. I don't know. I looked into it a little bit because I always feel like really connected to my dreams. The
Hmm.
dream,
You never
the
know.
real.
Maybe we'll have another set of twins.
I mean, twins run in my.
She doesn't like that. She does not approve.
Yeah, she's like, no, no, no,
No twins.
I'm the
no.
only one.
I just had one. I just had my second child. I don't know if I'm ready for more children, but there's been a lot of pregnancy vibes lately. But we'll
No,
see.
yeah.
I actually booked a session with Chloe. Only I had to postpone because I did. It seems like I'm starting my menstrual. Things are kind of funny, after postpartum.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I'm clear of 60 days now, but it seemed like, oh wait, did I start? Did I not? I don't.
Yeah. You know what's odd? It's interesting. I'm sorry, TMI. I started my period after the 60 days because I had stopped, right? Stopped bleeding, and then I started my period. And then this month I haven't started. So I'm just like, what is going on?
Are
But
you
your
breastfeeding?
body's trying to adjust.
With Chloe, my firstborn, it was like I didn't have a period for 8 months. So
Wow.
like, but I would cramp and I would spot every now and then. But then for 8 months, I didn't have a period because they say the progesterone hormone that produces milk also is kind of like it prevents your period. It's almost like a natural birth control, not a very effective one though. I don't recommend
Right.
it.
Don't try.
because then I got pregnant. But
Yeah.
oh, that's amazing. So we heard your albums, and we're very curious. I mean, obviously you're a very soul connected person, but what I guess give us a little insight on why you chose to produce or write that kind of music, and it's very beautiful and heartfelt. Like you could
Yeah.
definitely feel what you're trying to portray when you're singing.
Yeah. So it was my way of coping since I was a little girl. I kid you not, I love to sing, perform. That's why I love drama. I like the stage, I like Broadway. Like I was that type of girl and I just had so much energy to give out to the world. So I loved it, right? So check this out. I was 15. I was working in my first you know where Montgomery World Plaza was? They
Yeah.
Yes,
had
yes,
earlier in front of the DMV in downtown.
yes.
No, totally.
Okay, so I worked for a shoe store. I was 15. It was my first job. And I used to do the little Selena competitions and like sing and dance, right? And some agent came in, supposedly he was an agent, like he's like, oh yeah, I can make you famous, I can do this, blah 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 blah, like I will be your agent, you will have music out, and like we can travel, do whatever. I believed him because what 15-year-old that wants, that dreams big, doesn't believe something like that, right? And was so naive and young, and I believed him. He's like, yeah, it's $300 if you get started with me, blah blah blah. So I give him my first paycheck, and then he goes away and I never hear from him, and I'm like, oh, he ripped me off. Like my heart was broken. He shattered my dreams. I was like, oh my god, I'll never be a singer. So I I gave up. I didn't sing again up until 2020.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So my friend, he's a producer, and my friends around me would always be like, Bella, you need to record something, you need to do something, like, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start writing. So I started writing my own songs, and just like writing like what I felt or what I was going through. So every single song that I have out, I literally went through that. So yeah, so that's what inspired it. It started becoming like, at first it was like, okay, I'm just going to express myself, and then it became a like a coping mechanism where I just like released it through music.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Like you can definitely feel, like I love that track, Diosa. That's such a
Oh, the
beautiful.
that?
You know what's funny? I was looking at some of the, well, because I was listening to it last week when I hit you up about possibly doing this interview, and I was
Mhm.
like, lavender's my favorite color, lavender nights, and then it's 311. I'm like, oh, so many synchronicities.
Yeah.
311 is my birthday, so it's a special.
Oh wow.
We're big on like numerology, and
Yeah.
I don't know, 8 or 9. We're
Today
like
in
we
itself, it's a
2020.
Yes. Why do you think I was like, okay, I hope she's
It's
available? But
significant to have
yes,
you on. Thank you for being.
thank you
yes,
so much for having me on such a special day. I feel honored. Thank
yes.
you.
It's a beautiful. We'll try to get the episode, edited and whatnot, so we can post it as soon as possible. But yeah, it's special to have you on such a special day.
I
And
mean,
Yes.
what did you
uh,
have any questions for her?
yeah, like um,
So
if
ready.
you had any, if you had any advice for yourself 10 years ago, you could go back
Mhm.
and talk to yourself, and
Mm,
what would that message be?
That I am loved, I am worthy of,
oh,
and I am enough. That's what
wow.
I would tell myself. I feel like my choices would be a lot different if I knew that.
You
Deeply
had
believe that.
More people need to know that. That's
what?
for
Yeah.
sure.
Do, do you have any tools that you
Mhm.
find very valuable and you can maybe
Mm.
share with, I don't know, people listening, or that you have shared maybe even in the past too?
That, prayer is really one of the best tools you have. Sitting in prayer, sitting in thought, sitting with yourself, reflecting on yourself. Really not taking breathing for granted, because that is the highest DMT that you will receive ever in life.
Yeah.
So I truly feel like that's one of my biggest tools is breath and prayer. and just seeking for help outwards if you can't find the answer within. Like, I know we always say, I always live by that. Yeah, the answer is within, but sometimes we're so lost within ourselves that we can't find that direction. So just seeking for help in a way, in, towards someone that actually has the best interest in you, in your life, and like, that loves you truly and deeply. Because I feel like when someone really loves you, they will not lead you astray in a way where, like, I know that my real friends will always tell me what's real. So like, if I need to hear someone tell me yes, yes, yes all the time, I'll ask someone that's not really my friend, because a yes person doesn't really care for you. So like, I think that's one thing. Like, if you're going to seek out for help, go to someone that truly loves you.
Yeah, they'll give it to you straight up.
Yeah, that's very valuable way of thinking, because I mean, we do get lost, and then
Yeah.
how we especially as being a man, like asking for help, right? It's
I mean, women are
it's
guilty of it too.
vulnerability and
But
Vulnerability.
it's like deafening, or something that we don't want anything.
But that is a very powerful thing. It's a very the most powerful thing, to be vulnerable, because when you're vulnerable is when you grow the most.
I love being vulnerable. It's like,
it's definitely taking me some time to work on that, for sure, because I did grow up very masculine oriented, with a father and a brother, and so it was like Aiden's saying, for the masculine essence, it's like, no, I got this, I could do this on my own. But no, it's important to definitely, especially in today's world where the feminine divine is here to stay, and it's just so important to share our vulnerabilities and our stories. And I'm very grateful for you for sharing everything.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
What a pleasure.
If there's anything else you want to share with the audience, anything that's coming up. I mean, you shared a few amazing projects that you're, in the pursuits of, but
how do we find out more about you?
Yeah. If anyone wants to connect with you, share your
Instagram. I mean, you can always contact me through Instagram. I will eventually work on a blog. I was actually told very recently by one of my friends. She's like, you have a lot going on, and I feel like a lot of people want to know about you. So she's like, have you ever considered a blog? But I never worked on a blog, so I don't know much about it. So I have to do my research. But for now, I would say Instagram.
I mean, even Instagram's a great platform to be able to share, sites, and definitely I love that our higher spirits connected, because something told me when I saw Evelyn. Are you related to Evelyn, by the way?
No, well, she's just my soul sister. That's it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Evelyn and Chloe, I had the opportunity of having them I did a little mother circle instead of a baby shower second time around. I was like, I need to do something for me. I love baby clothes and all, but I didn't want to do a baby shower. So we got together with a few of my girlfriends, and we invited Evelyn and Chloe to do a sound healing bath for all of us. So that was really beautiful. And so when I saw Evelyn had posted your you were sharing about the insurance with your beautiful and pink teddy bear, I was like, hey, I had wondered what happened to you, because I didn't connect with you on social media prior. So I was like, I wondered what happened to the boutique. And 2020 and forward has been kind of like a blur for a lot of us. So not being able to go out and actually be in physical contact with people, it's kind of strange. But I'm glad we have these opportunities to still connect, and even more powerful too, because you have a very strong, beautiful essence, and we could definitely feel it. Like this whole interview, I had chills when you were just sharing all the things that you've experienced, and so we're really grateful for that.
Amplifying that energy, that
for sure
people like you, is something that I see myself doing.
Yes, we're very grateful for that.
I'm very grateful, and it's been such an honor to be able to share my story to you guys, with you guys, and with the world. Personally, I believe that we attract each other. So like I said earlier, we revisited each other for a reason, so here we are. And I just look forward to see all the things that you guys accomplish, and raising your beautiful babies, and growing together. You guys have such a beautiful relationship. To be able to work with each other in that way, and it's just amazing. So I really look up to that. So thank you guys
That's
so
a
much.
very high honor comment. So we appreciate it, because sometimes we're a little like, okay, this is what we want to do, but then we, hold ourselves back or whatever. So finally we're doing it. Yeah, perfectionism.
Or some other excuse comes up.
Yeah.
Right.
So Long Beach, we definitely want to go and hang out with you soon and get the
Come over
babies.
here.
I mean,
I
I
know
have a
one
newborn,
date.
you have a newborn, but
Yeah.
but still more reasons to connect and to go hang out.
Absolutely.
Well, it was so nice having you on. And anything else you want to share?
There's so much to share, but
Yeah.
just love.
Yes.
I know. Just passing the love to you guys, and
Maybe next at the next like meditation circle or something. Or if you're ever here, let us know. We'd be so happy to
definitely.
connect with you as well.
Or an in-person
In person,
interview,
that's
Person, exactly.
Yeah,
That'd
we're
be
gonna have to have you on again to share a little more.
Please be a
Yeah.
regular.
Yeah, no, because
fine.
I mean, for a lot of people, plant medicine, it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
but
we didn't even touch on it.
yeah,
much,
but it's definitely something that is very eye-opening, and it
Very
changes your whole paradigm, and your whole world gets shifted in a good way.
I feel it accelerates growth.
expand yourself.
Yeah,
It
that you've kind of been putting off. The growth you've been putting off, it just demands it in that moment.
Absolutely.
It helps you face your fears.
Oh, definitely.
And fear, what I mean by fears is not, fear is not always a negative thing. Fear can be a positive thing. Sometimes I truly believe that people fear themselves being successful, so they suppress their, all of these things. So I feel like the medicine really like amplifies that part of you, so you face it and you overcome it and you find peace in it.
Is what most people I feel are afraid of.
Yes.
They're more comfortable with settling, right? Being comfortable. Like, growing, evolving is a scary thing. Look into my song Leap of Faith. It's just a single. All of my music, I think I have like over 15 songs out. But Leap of Faith speaks for it all. Like it's really taking that leap of faith, taking the risk, overcoming that fear, and knowing that there's more to me, and tuning into that. So I love that song.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for
You're
taking.
welcome.
We're so grateful. That's all I could say.
That's for sure.
Taking
To
time.
you and the beautiful fam.
Time is a precious resource that we all have, and we're very grateful that you were able to share it with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Bella.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.